another calm stream tonight. So, we're on day 7 where we left off. We got a sunny day tomorrow. Let's see. We learned stir fry today. And we got a letter. So we get to go talk to the wizard today and unlock the Jumin language. Oops. And we have a potato. Let's see, I don't remember how much the bag is at the store. So let's go down to where the purple card is, because she's out today. Let's see what she's got for sale. Okay, so we gotta wait for Rasmodius to open up. I think he is available as of 9 AM, so until then, we're just gonna deforest a bit. Okay, so it's almost time to go see a wizard. There's some noisy neighbors. I am still so mad you can't romance him, because Rasmodius would just seem like a really good husband, because he's magical and all. And he knows when he's being too long-winded. I love those little guys, they're so cute and squeaky. Junimos. I don't keep portraits up for characters because it's kind of weird just seeing their faces and their reactions. I like it more like this, but like seriously though, the wizard kind of looks like a wizard Billy Ray Cyrus. I'm so happy Junimo are always happy to aid me. They're so cute. I would love a Junimo plush. You know, he gave us his name, but he's still only addressed as the wizard. I now can do force magic. Ooh. Okay. I gotta go to the store, see how much the backpack is. Gather a few things for the community center. How much wood and stone do I have? That's a question for the ages. I have enough wood for one slot at the community center. Well, I could probably... I can't remember if the store's even open on Sundays anymore, if it's just Wednesdays it's closed. I love how shoes make a different noise depending on what you run on. Okay, how much does a backpack cost? Oh, yay. Let's see, it's the 7th. That'll work. Might need to make another scarecrow. I probably will, just in case. So next backpack is 5,000, so that's what I'm setting up for next. Okay, so we got a few of those slots filled out. Need to gather some fiber for another scarecrow. Oh, and I got plenty of mixed seeds too if I want to make a larger plot. I just need to get some charcoal out of the chest and I'm good to go and make a scarecrow or two. I think I only have enough for one scarecrow. Have I talked to you before? Yes. I can never remember who I talked to. Let's see. I know there's an easier way to check how much stuff I have in a bag, but I totally spaced out on that. Plus, sometimes I think I'm still using the Switch controls, and so my brain will press buttons it shouldn't. I think tomorrow will be a day where I focus on fully cleaning up my farm. I just needed more stuff to plant. Oops. See, wrong button. Okay, let's go grab some coal. Okay. That's not what I want to do. Put you about right here. Let's see. I might move that other scarecrow closer up. That was so nice. Hi, welcome to stream, and yeah, it's a very chill game, so I'm feeling very chill right now. I just really love farming games, and I wanted to do a Bloodborne stream, but it's Sunday. Okay, I think I'm gonna move. Oops. Well, I guess I know where to move him now. Yes. But I do want to get back into Bloodborne. It's been like over a week. But I had a rough work week, so I decided to be more into chill games. Started playing on my Switch again. Just Pokemon Quest, because I really love little idle games, and that's the only little real idle clicker game that I have on my Switch. Oh no, will I not have enough energy? Nope. Oops. Yes, let's see how much I can push it. Ah, about right there. I totally forgot that I was using my axe a lot earlier. Oh wait, no, I need clays. I have almost enough clay to make a well now. Oh, please don't tell me that was a meteorite. I am nowhere near ready to destroy that. Oh no! I have never gotten that so early in a game. Oh, where is it? Yeah, you're supposed to only be able to get one meteorite. And usually they hit in the summertime. That's when I'm used to them hitting, but... Yep. Wow, I have gotten a meteorite way earlier than I'm used to. So I definitely need to get my pickaxe upgraded ASAP. At least it didn't hit anywhere where I was growing things. I had that happen in a file once where I had a really nice setup and it wiped out half my crops. And like, meteorites are super rare, but you get one of the strongest materials from them. And they're supposed to not happen until summertime. So I think with the updates, yeah, I lost most of my coffee beans that I had planted. I was so upset about that because coffee beans are easy money. I know one time in one of my files I had to wait until the 3rd year before the meteorite showed up. But getting it this early? Dang, I feel both lucky and unlucky. Oh well, today was my farm cleanup day, so I guess... Oh wait, I should probably go get my sickle. Oh no, I can use my sword to get rid of weeds. And corn takes a long time to grow, so it kind of sucks that it went for that. Like I remember in one of my files, it hit right in the area where I would release my cows so they could just wander around and eat grass. So I had to get rid of it before I could let my cows out again. Yeah, corn is like one of the best, or the best ones, because they're multi-season. So I got extremely lucky to land in a place where I wasn't growing anything. Yeah, I've never had land really close to the house. It's always been like on the left side of the map. But like with the traditional or the hilltop farm, you mostly have the left side of the land to grow stuff on. So that's where I had all my plots. Oh yeah, it would have been nice if it hit some of those rocks. But I don't mind too much. I got get some materials out of it. I just need to make myself a furnace, and yeah, I think my pickaxe will be my first upgrade. So I can get further down into mine so I can upgrade it further. Because I really hate having these big rocks on my property. But I also need to upgrade my axe because I really want that hardwood. Let's see. I think I need 10 clay and 100 stone. I think 1,000 gold to get a well. That's what I was aiming for first. I'm gonna go south to see if there's any spring onions. It's cute she has a camera. Makes me kind of jealous. I want a camera. Oh yeah, what are my current missions? Oop. Oh, I only need to meet 3 more people. What people do I need to meet? Okay, I think I can meet all 3 of those today. I usually push off on meeting everybody because I just want to focus on farming. It's usually not until the second year where I really focus on getting married. Where's football guy? Working out in his room. Hello, Maru. Let's see if the beach has anything. There's that Fabio looking guy. Ooh, yay, more clay. Wow, my neighbors are very noisy today. Okay, so I got one more person to meet. Oh wait, would he be? There's Abby. I have no idea if my neighbors can be heard over my mic, but there's kids in the hallway just yelling and screaming. There we go. Now I just need a spring leak and I'm done with the spring foraging bundle. Oh, good. I can hear them through my headset, but I didn't know how sensitive my mic was. Are you out of your room or are you still in your room? I'm glad I didn't stream yesterday because most of the day was spent listening to firefighters trying to break open a neighbor's door. So that was a thing. It's actually why I haven't streamed in a few days, because we've had cops in the building. That's what you get for living in a big city. Yeah, it can be very yikes, but it's usually a pretty quiet neighborhood. Just lately, especially with kids starting school, it's been pretty noisy. For now, I'll sell that. Okay. I live in the north of Seattle. So away from all the protests and stuff, and in a generally very quiet neighborhood, but we live right in a very family-friendly neighborhood, so there's always a lot of kids. Oh, 75 stones. Okay, I have enough to get a well then. I think Robin is closed today because this is the day where the women meet in the store for yoga. So I'll have to get that set up tomorrow. I can say though, for living in a big city like Seattle, it's still quieter than where I lived before. Where I lived before, I was like right in between both the military bases, so there was always some kind of noise. Oh, I see little wiggly things over there. I just realized I missed the mayor's birthday. That's okay, I can't stand the mayor. He's so mean to Marnie. still get so mad every time I get the mission to get his boxers back. Cause like, go befriend Marnie, get his underwear back. It's like, that's like the worst reason to be friends with her. She's such a sweet old lady. It's even worse when he asks for the truffle oil, and you're just like, that's not the kind of oil you should be using. I am excited for the upcoming patch though that's coming out for this game, because apparently part of it is you can make a house for Pam so she can get out of that trailer, which one of the first things I really like to do is get her working again on the bus. Oh, I do have enough for field snack. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. Yeah, and yeah, that I love some of the mods that people come up with, and then the developer looks at him and is like, hey, that's actually a really good idea. Like, one of the characters I love helping in the game is Shane, because he's got such a sad story. And plus, once you help him, you get blue chickens, and I absolutely love blue chickens. So getting Pam a house is like a really neat idea. I generally marry Leah, but I've been going for Penny. Yes. But yeah, I love being friends with Shane, literally for chickens, and because once he's happy, it's such a better storyline for him. Now, the only characters that I don't like interacting with too much, Abigail is just too weird for me, and I love weird characters, but the moment she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat this, and it's a rock, yeah, no thanks. That's a little too strange for me. And I absolutely cannot stand Gus. I actually like Gus less than the mayor just because he's so creepy. I get it, dude, you're in love with this girl, but she can't stand you, and you don't seem to realize that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have 201 wood. I think the next thing I'll build after the well would be a chicken coop. I know recently I started playing Stardew Seasons Friends of Mineral Town because I love Back to Nature, and apparently Friends of Mineral Town was similar to Back to Nature. I prefer Stardew immensely. So much better character stories, and as nostalgic as Stardew Seasons is, Stardew Valley has much better characters. And plus apparently dialogue options after you get married and Stardew Seasons, the characters still literally say the same things, but they're just not married to you. I'm down here in the mines because I need to create a furnace, but I need iron ore for that. Oh my god. I played the original Harvest Moon. I had a Game Boy Pocket. Yeah, I didn't think did either. The very first Harvest Moon was kind of difficult. Back then I still had dial-up internet, so I didn't like have the ease of access of checking like how to make characters like you and stuff like that, and how to farm. Everything I did was very much a blind run. But then I got a PlayStation and Back to Nature came out. I have sunk over 300 hours into that game. I was like on year 20 by the time I finished playing that. And then I didn't play a Harvest Moon again until... Well, I tried the Harvest Moon that was a phone game originally, and I didn't like that one very much. And I started playing Stardew Valley in 2017 on the PlayStation before I found out the developer was never going to update it again until it got ported to the Switch, and there was still such a popularity on it for it on the PlayStation that they started updating again for a PlayStation. So I have played it across various consoles. I have it for the PC too, but it's kind of hard to play on the PC. I mostly reserve PC game time for Final Fantasy XIV, House Flipper, Among Us, and Terraria. And I think I might make a Terraria video one day and put that on my YouTube channel. I just have to figure out if I want to make a brand new world or what for it. Because I've got like 3 worlds set up. But one of them I play strictly with one of my friends who, like me, got into it blind running. And Terraria is actually really neat. I love farming and I love digging games. And you can farm in Terraria, but I still haven't figured out how to plant. I have Stardew for the Switch, but I get distracted and I keep playing Pokemon Quest. And I also have Burnout on there, so I keep playing Burnout Paradise too, because I love racing games. I'm just not very good at them. So most of the time when I play Stardew, I play it on a PlayStation. And yay, I got a kitty! I promised one of my friends I'd name the cat after her. As cute as Miso is, I'm gonna name the kitty Lynn. Oops. I know as far as farming games go, I kinda want to get Rune Factory 5 when it comes out. I've never played a Rune Factory game, but it combines fighting and farming. I guess, character development stuff. I've tried My Time at Portia. It's a fun game, but it's got so many glitches in it that I keep falling through the world, and it's really annoying when that happens. I've played My Summer at Mara. As cute as that game is, it's kind of really annoying that to get anywhere I have to sail island to island, and it just takes a lot of in-game time to go island to island. I would love to play Slime Rancher, but cell shading makes me so motion sick, and so I watched one of my favorite YouTubers play it, and I got motion sick just watching them. I don't know what it is about cell shading, but I can't handle it. Which makes me sad because I would love to play Borderlands, but I watched my wife play that and I can only like watch her for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time. So yeah, when it comes to monster collecting games, pretty much the only one I play Pokemon. And I guess in a way Monster Hunter would count, but I haven't played that one in a long time, and I just want to collect the Tobikadachi. I've tried all of my games, there's a lot of them I never finished. Like I want to restart Yakuza 0 and possibly stream that. And then I remembered that I had started Yakuza Kiwami and never finished it, so I would have to restart that one too. And since I plan on streaming 2 to 3 times a week, eventually I'll get through a bunch of games. I just wanted something chill that I've played before. Like, I know as soon as I get a PS5, which I'm not gonna get it right away, I'm gonna wait for a couple of generations so they can fix the bugs. I'm definitely gonna get a game called Stray where you get to play as a cat. Yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a PS5 about 3 months or so. 3 to 6 months before I get one. I can easily afford it. I have a good job, it's just I don't want to get first generation, so I'm waiting till probably about maybe 2nd or 3rd gen before I'm up for getting it. Hello to my second viewer. But yeah, I'm so excited for the game Stray. Yeah, I made the mistake of getting a first gen Xbox 360, and it was so bad. It crashed so often. Now for PS3, I had a 3rd gen PS3. Oh no, not even Red Ring of Death. It just straight up glitched out games and would stop playing them. It actually, with the updates that came in, lasted me a good, I would say 3 or 4 years before we had to get another one. But yeah, I had a 3rd gen PS3 which actually died real quick. Then I got a 6th or 7th gen, one of the later gens, and that PS3 is actually still usable. We just don't remember where the charging cord for the controller is. Now when it came to PS4, we got one of the late model big ones. I didn't want the skinny one, even though it was backwards compatible. I'm not too fond of PlayStation's backward compatibility. Oh wait, I want to get my stone. Like, I'm kind of excited that they're gonna have backwards compatibility for the PS5, but at the same time, I already own a lot of the games for the PS4, so it's like, why would I get them for the PS5 if my PS4 still works just fine? Okay, get the stone. I think my next big project, yeah, my next console purchase will definitely be a PS5. I used to be an Xbox gamer, but I don't want to own the mini fridge. No, that's not. Yeah, when I looked at it, they're like, oh, this is the next Xbox. And I'm like, that's not an Xbox, that's a mini fridge that a college kid would have. It's so big. I know my dad wants it, but his Xbox One still works just fine, so if he wants it, he can get it himself. Okay. Good location. I keep yawning. I'm not even tired, I'm just yawning. And people keep making fun of how big the controller for the PS5 is gonna be. I do not mind at all, I have big hands. That's why I always liked the Xbox controllers, because I didn't feel like my hands were just... Yeah, my wife has tiny hands, and so watch it. I'm gonna see how well she handles the PS5 controller. But I have big hands, and sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break my PS4 controller. They really do. The only problem with that is, you would have to make them kid-proof, and that would be very difficult. Now, if they have a customized one where they're like, oh yeah, you send in, okay, this is how big my hands are, this is the measurement for my hands, this is the measurement for my fingers, and they like custom made one, that would be pretty cool too. I would get one with one of my mom's cats on it. Just like put an image of the cat right on the middle of the controller, so it looks like you're always playing with a cat. Oh no! Game Boy, the old school Game Boys were resilient. Yeah, like the switches are so delicate. I remember my Game Boy Pocket went through a lot. Okay, Robin lost her axe. I remember my two little sisters stole my Game Boy Pocket for a while, and I found it stuffed underneath the mattress, and it had been underneath their mattress for almost a full year. So it survived, oh, excuse me, 2 kids bouncing up and down and sleeping on a mattress, and it came out just fine. Now my Mew figurine that they stole, one of those old school plastic figurines, had a bent leg after they were done hiding it from me. I'm still so mad because they had also stolen my Pokemon Red version, and they had deleted my file. I'm upset that the worst punishment they got was they were yelled at because one of them was 8 and the other one was 3. Oh, I was so pissed off. Like, I would ask them every day, hey, have you seen it, have you seen it, have you seen it? And this 8-year-old and this 3-year-old every single day would go, no, 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 no. And then my older sister one day was like, oh yeah, I keep hearing little noises coming from their room. And so I went in one day and my mom went with me and we looked around and yeah, there was my Game Boy Pocket and my Mew figurine underneath their mattress. But since they were so little, my mom just told them not to do that again. That's literally all the punishment they got for hiding what was at that time a Christmas present from my parents for almost a full year from me. Suffice it to say, I never let them into my room again, so when they wanted to play my PlayStation, it was like, nope, you don't get to touch it. You already lost that privilege. They never touched another console of mine until I got... yeah, they never got to touch another console of mine until I got a GameCube with some, family games on it. So we had like Mario Party and stuff, but even then they still had to ask me permission. Oh, come on, Robin, don't you want your axe? Oh well. I know when I got a PS2, my own PS2, my sisters kept asking me to use it, and I said no. That stayed in my room. Just... Oh yeah, when I got my own computer, my mom tried to get me to let my sisters to play it. Yeah, after my little sisters bricked 2 computers, my parents were like, no, you guys can't use the computers again. So I got lucky on that part when they killed the computer. Yeah, just... And there's stupid stuff too. They play like those little dress-up doll games online and kept getting like viruses and stuff on the computer. They're much better with technology now. Yeah, but those sites are always so full of malware and viruses and stuff. And you know, little kids, they see a shiny button, they want to push it. And the next thing you know, your mom is using computer to do something, and it bricks. Oops. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. Yeah, one day when the family computer was acting up, I checked it out because I was the technology savvy person in the family, and my sisters had downloaded a whole bunch of those, search bars. And like, you had a search bar for Yahoo, and at that point, Lycos, Ask Me Jeeves for their games and all that. And so, I got to teach my parents how to blacklist sites. and it was not fun for my little sisters. And now I have my own computer and I don't have to worry about anyone using it, so yay being an adult. Oh no! Oh, and you can get enough search bars where it like takes up the entire screen. Oh no, that's even worse. They teach you in college not to download those. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have anything to eat with me. Yeah, my mother-in-law had me look at her computer once, and this was back in like 2010. Yeah, same thing, riddled with viruses. Yeah, that's... If she did that to her Windows PC to get a MacBook, that's pretty messed up. Especially since in the long run, Windows are much more user-friendly. I know people prefer MacBooks for a lot of things. I just find Windows a lot more user-friendly for the work I do. And plus, like, back in 2012, the average MacBook, wasn't it like $2,000 to $3,000? Those are not cheap. Oh, that's like the worst way to be fashionable. Like, even today, I don't use Mac products. Oh my god. Oh, your sister's something else. I don't even like using iTunes, because the moment you put iTunes on your computer, if you decide to get rid of iTunes, it gets rid of all the music you had on your computer before. And it really sucks. Like, you don't even need to buy music from iTunes, and it will delete it off your system. What the heck? That sounds like Apple, though. Very shady business practices. Yeah, I've always used Android. I've always liked my Android phones. Like, I had somebody ask me how to exit out of tabs on an iPhone, and I could not figure it out. She had like 51 tabs open in her browser. Ooh, Egg Festival. Oof. Yeah, I was forced to use a Mac, one of the desktop ones, for graphics arts for a while. I could not figure out how to do anything on that. Hopefully your mom got a more user-friendly computer after that, once that one was done with. Yeah, I would argue that. Like, if you know how to keep your computer safe, it's... As long as they're not using something like Norton or McAfee as their security system, it's not as bad. But if they're using those two things, oh boy. Navast isn't that good anymore either. It took them like, what, 2 years to bring out a patch for Windows 10? And by that time, pretty much everybody had to use Windows 10? What? Oh, 9 AM, okay. As long as you do periodic scans and regular defrags, your computer will last you a long time. And also not download shady stuff. I just don't like MacBook setup. With a Windows computer, I can click one button and be on the internet. I never figured out how to get on the internet from a Mac. I had a friend tell me, oh, it's this icon in this folder that you have to go through this folder and this folder to find. It's like, why? Why can't you just have a button? I think one of the biggest reasons I stopped using a Mac actually was because they got rid of Photoshop for a very long time. And being a graphic artist back then in like the mid-2000s, and all of a sudden you can't use Photoshop on one of the systems anymore, it just made it unappealing. Now I use Spire Alpaca because it's free and gets me what I need, so I don't even bother with Photoshop anymore. But yeah, back then that was a very big nope. Yeah, they just within the past few years got Photoshop back, but they lost their license with them for a long time. There was there was something going on, and Apple refused to pay for something that Photoshop wanted them to pay for, so they had a falling out. But I think it was like 2014, 2015 that Photoshop came back onto Mac. But yeah, it wasn't there for a while. And if you have your Windows configured, you can just use a Windows computer. I know a lot of artists like using Macs, but as long as it's a computer and it looks good to you, it doesn't really matter what you use. I just went back to traditional art after Mac stopped supporting Photoshop back then. It makes me feel so old that I still remember them not supporting Apple for a long while. Like, I know my sister was an architecture student, and some of her architecture buddies used Macs, but she found that her program AutoCAD worked much better on a Windows computer, so she just kept it on a Windows computer. And she just graduated with her architecture degree this year using a Windows computer, even though people kept trying to tell her to use a Mac. Yeah, I'm very proud of her. I technically graduated this year too, even though I was supposed to be class of 2019, but my tech class got moved back another year to 2020 graduation because we had a whole bunch of people drop out of the program. I was in a general technology degree, and SQL is not fun. It is not a fun database to learn. I majored with databases and data entry, and I hate SQL so much. Like, I had to take almost 2 years straight of SQL classes, and I'm SQL certified through Microsoft. I actually got to do the test, but I hate SQL so much. The company I work for has their own database system. Oh yeah, oh, I had to set up the systems. I had to set up those spreadsheets and databases and all that from scratch, and sometimes we'd get like a skeleton to use for projects, but otherwise it was all, oh yeah, no, figure it out yourself. Use the instructions in the book. Yeah, SQL is not friendly to those who aren't comp sci focused. I have... Well, it's actually pretty interesting. And since we're going pretty much all digital on a lot of things, that'll be useful. I married an English major, and I will say personally, English is like the most difficult thing to me because it's not my first language. And I laugh because I wrote a book. But yeah, my mom is a library technician, and she was thinking about getting her library science degree officially. Thank you. I've been speaking English for over, let's see, moved to the States in '97? It's like almost 23 years now, and yeah, I wrote a book because I was bored. And go for it with the Linux. Linux was never something that really fully interested me, so I never really got into it. That's true. I was originally going to go into nursing, but then I went into computer science after I had a back injury, and you have to be able to lift when you're a nurse. So I took all the computer science classes I needed, and yeah, I graduated with a... Yeah, the standing, especially since I have chronic pains, would not have been very possible. But yeah, I graduated with a general technology degree, and because I was forced to do it, I also got a certificate in business analysis. Let me tell you, business analysis is like... I will never use what I learned in business analysis any time in my life because I focused on data entry and database management. And that's my job. I take care of data entry and I help take care of the database stuff that I need to. But business analysis, oh, no. That's such a useless degree. I'm never gonna go to a company and tell them, oh yeah, you need this, and it's gonna take this much time and this much money and all that. I don't want to do that for a living. Oh no, ah! And I still not getting the reward, oh well. I know what it was just spring seeds, but I pushed the wrong button again. But yeah, I took medical assisting classes. Oh, yay, they got rid of that. They patched in where the reward doesn't go away. I took medical assistant classes, and it was a lot of fun. Just back injury prevented me from going straight into nursing. I have a friend who's in nursing, and it's just wreaking so much havoc on her, and I feel so bad for her. I had another friend who became a CNA at 16, and she was going to start taking her pre-nursing classes that she was allowed to take at 16. But even after just like work, since she's a tiny girl, she's like 5 feet even and weighs nothing, it was too much for her, and she just decided to not go for a nursing degree. I don't think people realize how physically demanding nursing is. And I would have done it. I would have loved to do it. But my back said nope. Oh yeah, and it's endurance I don't have anymore. I would have been fine with the emotional endurance, but I've always been calm in a crisis mode type person. And I was... Ooh. Yeah, it's a lot. I would have loved to do it. I wish my body didn't feel like it was falling apart. I was going to a really good school for it too, that had a really high graduation rate when it came to nurses, because they were so supportive of all their nursing students and helped them with placements and all that. And I would have gotten to take calculus. I was so excited to take calculus. But yeah, injury said no. It does, but sometimes stuff like that happens, and then you find something else that you enjoy doing. Like for me, I highly enjoy doing data entry work. I get to work with legal documents, which is something that I had thought about doing as a kid. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer, and then I realized I didn't want to be a lawyer. I still get to work with court documents within the job I do. And so that's a close enough for me. Oh yeah, today's Egg Festival in game. Wait, is that today? Did I miss it? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I was like, oh man, did I miss Egg Festival? Did I miss it? No, I walked through the town. It didn't trigger, so I should be good. Speaking of school, I wanted to be a translator at one point because German is my first language, but then I realized that translating is actually very boring, and I decided not to do it. And plus I would have had to speak what's called Hochdeutsch, High German, all the time. And I grew up speaking a very southern dialect, so I actually actively have to think about Hochdeutsch, because otherwise I slip into the dialect is called Mannheimerisch, but of course in my area we call it Munmerisch. It's a very southern dialect, and there's a few dialects that are worse. Like if you go to Friesen or Friesland, I do not understand what anybody is saying up there. Oh yeah, Germany has 26 distinct Oh yeah, and there's Friesisch and Nordfriesisch, or Northern Frisian, and that's even worse. But yeah, there is 26 distinct dialects that are all split up into sub-dialects. And yeah, English is actually based off of Northern Germanic, which German is based off of. So a lot of English words come straight from German language. Like the word milk is Milch, but Americans or English speakers tend to say CH as a K, so it became milk instead of saying Milch. Languages are wild. Like there's so many languages in Europe. Like I can listen to Dutch and understand most of it. And good, Munich, München, Berlin. Ooh, when it comes to not understanding German speakers, I cannot understand most people who speak Berlin German because it's a mix. Like the straight up Berlin accent, it's a mix of Slavic, Polish, English, and German, and it's so confusing. Oh yeah, in Munich they tend to either speak the dialect there or they speak High German, and High German is proper German, which is, yeah, it is the best way to learn language. That's how I pretty much learned English, is they didn't have an ESL teacher at the school I was at, so I just listened to everybody around me, and within half a year I could speak passable English. Ooh, and I'll buy strawberry seeds for next year while I'm here. It also helps that I lived near, I lived in Germany in between 5 military bases where everybody spoke English. We learned Oxford English, or proper British English, in my school in Germany when I was in 5th grade, but I was only there for about 6 weeks before we moved to the States because my dad is an American, but we didn't live military. We lived with my Oma, or my grandma. So I spoke German, and I had very faint understanding of English. And yeah, I was thrown into that. But unlike my other sisters, I did not have any problems picking up English. My older sister struggled for 4 years to learn English, but part of it was her not wanting to learn English. My younger sister had a speech impediment, so we had to work through that to get her to speak English. And my youngest sister didn't even speak when we moved to the States. So her first language technically is English, but she understands German. But yeah, languages are wild, and I will say I cannot understand half of the German dialects that there are, because some of them, they do the French thing, the word is mushling, like mumbling their words, like they do in, like Frisian. So I don't understand mumbled words very well, and then there's the ones where they leave out half the letters. So it's like it's like going down to the south here in America, and you listen to them speak German, and next thing you know, you're like, was that a complete sentence? You said a word? I didn't understand anything you said. And the dialect I grew up with, I lived south of Frankfurt, but above the Black Forest, or Schwarzwald. So we had a dialect that I guess in a lot of ways is mumbled, but it's more shortened words, and you also use a lot of hand gestures with it. So when you were talking with people, you used your hands a lot, and that's actually something I had to stop doing here in the States, because apparently people, yeah, basically Italians and Germans, people over here in the States don't understand it when you use a lot of hand gestures. apparently it's a public speaking thing and you're supposed to do that when you're doing speeches, but in normal conversation, it freaks most people out when you start waving your hands around. So I had to learn to keep my hands still. And my wife just dabbed at me. Yeah, a lot of people on the East Coasters tend to be, like Italian immigrants. Spanish people will use their hands a lot when they speak. Greeks will too. The French, not so much. It depends on the area of France. They tend to be pretty good about keeping their hands still, but yeah, the area of Germany I grew up in, oh, yeah. When I speak German with my mom, we still move our hands around, but when I speak English, I keep my hands on a table, on my lap. I know how to keep my hands from flailing around. I know when I went to Boston, when I was 18, I saw people using their hands when talking. And the people I was with, they just kind of stared like that person was crazy. And I'm just like, hey, you're literally speaking my language. But yeah, just languages are wild. Now when it comes to other languages, oof. I try not to talk fast while streaming. Sometimes I forget. People up here in Washington State, you either get the people they're slow-paced and enunciate really well, or you get the people that talk so fast. Yeah, here they talk so fast that you think you're at one of those cattle auctions. There's no accent or anything to it, so it's like very clear, concise English. It's just really fast. Yeah, I've had conversations that were so fast in high school where people from other states, they're just kind of like, okay. Because we had a lot of military kids in my high school. God, I actually miss talking fast, but I slowed down how I talk for my wife's sake because I was talking too fast for her sometimes. So yeah, I talk about, I guess, a mid-pace now. And when I do streams, I try not to talk too loudly so people can catch what I'm saying. That's something I learned in my public speaking classes. And yeah, I've pretty much memorized the way to go to get the most amount of eggs, except back there. Like, if my baby sister and I get a very good conversation going, we talk so fast. And it's like, people stare at us and wait for us to take a breath. Did I win or did I lose? Yeah, I got a hat. Oh, and I think people have been trying to message me. I thankfully only had 3. My mom originally wanted 6 kids, but she stopped at 4 because we were all natural births, and she regrets that. Yeah, interruption is a very German thing. Yeah, it's something I had to teach myself not to do. Unlike my other sisters, they still do the whole interrupting thing, but I try not to, because after taking a sociology class, I realized that's actually really rude. Yeah, I get very annoyed when my mom keeps doing the whole interrupting thing, so I just stand there and I don't say anything, and then she realizes that she did it again. And I'm gonna put this flamingo right here. It's even worse when you get a whole bunch of rowdy Germans in one place and they're all interrupting each other and all you hear is ne 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 ne, because someone's trying to say, well, the word is nine, but in my dialect we say ne. So you're trying to get the conversation back on track, and people are saying yeah yeah yeah, or they're saying ne 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 because they're like, hey hey hey, you interrupted me, let me go back to mine. Yeah, Germans like to be heard, and you get more conservative, quieter Germans in the north, but like mid-range southern, especially western Germans, very loud people. Like there's Catholic Germans, that would probably be, yeah, more southern. I found that there's more evangelical Germans more northish. The Catholic ones tend to stay closer to where the Vatican was, so more southish. Yeah. My mom came from a family of 3, and the only reason there was only 3 kids is because my Oma couldn't have more kids, so they only had 3. I'm just gonna go to sleep in a game. But yeah, my mom wanted a huge family. She wanted 6 kids. She stopped at 4, which I'm very grateful about, because the house that we lived in here in the States barely supported the 6 people that lived in it. And at one time we had 13 people in our house, because when you make friends in Germany, your friend and their family become your family. So if your friend suddenly decides, hey, I'm going to move to the USA too, can I crash in your place until I found a house of my own? And suddenly you have 13 people in the house? That was not fun. It was a whole bunch of Germans too, so it was never quiet. I think the worst, Germany, when I grew up in Germany, it was not very big on big families, and kids were not supposed to be seen or heard. So like, it was not fun being a kid over there. My mom had 4 kids. We kept getting kicked out of apartments because they're like, you have too many kids. We moved a lot over there. And at one point we were in a 1-bedroom apartment. This was back when my mom only had 3 kids, and in total with the 3 families that lived in that 1-bedroom apartment for a while, we were 17 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. So yeah, it can get pretty crazy over there. Yeah, I was like, I think about 5 or 6 years old at the time. And so my mom shoved us off on our aunt for winter vacation, so that at least 2 kids would be out of her hair, so that only made it 15 people in the apartment until my parents could find something new. But yeah, it was rough. Germany's a lot better about big families now because they realize that they don't have enough native workers. Everybody that's pretty much over there right now is aging, and they're relying a lot on immigrants moving in. Yeah. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that, but they've gotten better about kids in general. Back when I was little, between noon to 3 o'clock, kids were supposed to stay inside and be quiet. No playing outside, because noon to 3 was like a siesta, like a nap time type thing. So it made summer vacation very hard. Thankfully, TV stations at that time made it so that most of the programming for kids was between noon to 3, so kids had a reason to stay inside. We were inside, let's see, when I was little, I was like 7 years old when Sailor Moon came out in Germany. It was rough, especially since I realized as a little kid I didn't like other kids and being forced to live in surrounded by little kids. At least I didn't have to raise my siblings because my mom was a stay-at-home mom until I was like 17, 18 years old when she decided to get a college degree. Because she found out that in America, she could get a college degree in her 30s. That was not something that she would have been able to do in Germany. And all the kids found the sewer. The German education system is getting better. It's still better than the American education system. It's just very different. They do, but there is 3 levels of high school. There is Real, there's Haupt, Real, and Gymnasium. Haupt is like you would have graduated as of 8th grade and gone on to a vocational school. So if you tested into Hauptschule, you were never destined to be anything more than a vocational worker, like doing road work, construction stuff, so basic stuff where you're pretty much just doing menial labor for the rest of your life. I went to a system called Realschule because I tested higher. I would have gone to school until 9th grade, and then I could have optionally went on to 10th grade. But as of 9th grade, I would have been eligible to go to a technical college. So I could have done things like secretarial work and stuff like that, kind of what I'm doing now, and I would have gone to school for that. Gymnasium is the highest level, and those kids would have gone on to school till grade 13, and then straight into a university. So those are the kids that would have done things like become doctors and stuff like that. So it's a very different system from here in the States. Like, I was excited to graduate as of 9th grade and go on to, like, a technical college, like, be a secretary or something. Then we moved to the USA and I was told, oh, by the way, you're going to school until 12th grade. And it's like, you're adding 3 more years to my schooling. And over there, middle school and high school were in the same buildings, so you were going to middle school and high school at the same time. And then I come over here to the States and I'm told, by the way, 5th grade is elementary school. You're going back to elementary school. And it was weird that vacations over here in the States are so long. I went to school for 210 days, a year over in Germany. I moved here to the United States and it's only a minimum of 182. Yeah, I moved here the year where previously had been voted that 5th grade would go back to elementary school. So middle school was 6, 7, and 8, and then 9 through 12 was high school. It just really sucked. Oh, excuse me, because I was in this higher learning level, and then America doesn't have that. So I was basically stuck doing the work that everybody else was doing. It's like over in Britain where they have like C levels, B levels, A levels. Germany's kind of split up into that. And America's just, everybody learns the same thing, unless your parents can afford to put you into private schooling or you're allowed to skip grades. And that's why my grades suffered so bad, is I wanted advanced work, but I wasn't allowed to do advanced work until I went up to the next grade. It made schooling very hard. I barely graduated high school. Honestly, I think the entire school system needs to be rehauled over here. And yeah, it was pretty rough, but I survived. I can put those into a thing, I think, yeah. Like, the person that was most upset about it was literally my older sister, because she had, at that point, 2 more years left of school. She tested into Hauptschule, so she would have only had to go until 8th grade. So she had 2 years to go, and then we moved to the States, and she was told, nope, you have 6 years to go. She was very mad about that. I am grateful to the American education system, though, for how they have colleges set up. Because I actually had a chance to go to a university, which I would have never been able to do over in Germany because I was not at the right level of schooling. Yeah. They figure that if you are dumb enough to test into the lowest level, you may as well just get out 8th grade, go to the lowest level of college you can, and be as productive as you, or be a productive member of society as soon as you can. So it was more, I guess, for the workforce that they were looking for. So if you were an idiot, they would only give you a job that they think an idiot would be able to do. And actually, my older sister was an idiot. She was not good at anything. And she would cry over basic math. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Europeans don't beat around a bush when it comes to education. If they think you're too dumb for something, they will straight up tell you you're too dumb for something. Oh, I need a big egg. Yeah, like, I would have never gotten the chance to do nursing in Germany because I didn't go to gymnasium. The most I could have hoped for was, like, being a secretary, becoming a journalist, doing some kind of political job, or like working for the state or something, or the equivalent of it. I was just a few points shy of going to gymnasium, so I would have been able to go on to university. I just did not test into it. Nope, it's not. It's fish I want. And over here in the States, I had a chance to... I tried college 6 times. I had to quit for various reasons. The back injury was one of them, but I'm glad I actually got the opportunity to try. That's something that I appreciate about the American school system, that I actually got to try. I just would have loved to go over. Yeah, it is pretty fucked up. Like, my mom got into Real, and so she actually had a college degree in secretary work, but she decided to become a mom instead. And so when she went back to college, she was able to use her credits she'd earned in Germany and transfer them here to States. But yeah, my younger sister would have been screwed because she was not good at school. And I'm glad my youngest sister never had to go through the education system. It works for Europe, but in the long run, it's not a system that would work here in the United States. Not with what they're expecting for colleges. I mean, even a vocational school you need a certain grade point average for. And what they taught over there was very different. It was more about memorizing than it was actually about being creative. So I literally did classes where I learned how to do dictation. where I listened to the teacher talk and I had to write it down exactly. So if the teacher spoke and she paused, I had to know if she was pausing and I had to put down a period, or if she was pausing and I had to put down a comma. So we learned things like that. And with math, we learned how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide in a business math way. So I did not know how to do algebra until college here in the United States, because by the time I went to school over here, they'd already gone over algebra and my teachers were stubborn and refused to teach me algebra. So I didn't know algebra until college. And that's why I basically almost didn't graduate. I didn't know algebra. And I would not have learned algebra over in Germany until like 9th grade. Apparently it's taught all the way to as early as like 3rd grade in some places here. And that's wild, because algebra is not easy. I love it, now that I understand it, but it's not easy. So yeah, the priority over in Europe is literally getting people ready for the workforce, getting people ready for school. Over here, the education system is... Yeah, like the middle school I went to, they taught pre-algebra 7th grade and they taught algebra 8th grade, but they taught like a basic algebra in 5th grade. I know... Yeah, I tried to see what Common Core was about, because both my nieces use Common Core. I have no idea what they're doing. I tried, and they tried to explain it to me, and I'm like, I love math. This isn't math. This is weird. But yeah, like, America's education system, I'm not sure what they're preparing students for here. I honestly don't. Over in Germany, we had practical skills classes like homemaking, sewing, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, no, I do math in my head, and I don't do it like that. I can... Yeah, and I guess if you're taught those specific ways, I guess it would be easier, but I was not taught in those ways. I actually had to, stop using the way I learned math in Germany over here, because we did it slightly differently over there. Like I said, we dealt with huge numbers, and then I come here and we didn't go over the times tables past 10 until 7th grade, which was really weird because that's stuff I did in 2nd grade. If America wanted to be so universal when it came to math and stuff like that, why do we still use the standard system instead of metric? I had to forget the metric system. Like, I was so... Yeah, I knew how to do grams and stuff like that, and then I come over here and they're like, we don't do grams, we use ounces. It's like, what the heck is an ounce? So I had to use or learn a completely different way to measure things. I was used to measuring things out literally with a scale. So like if I needed 255 grams of sugar, I weighed out 255 grams of sugar. Over here in the States, that's about 2 cups of sugar. So I guess in a way it's a little easier, but when you grow up learning that this recipe calls for 255 grams, you weigh out 255 grams. You don't just bust out a cup and measure it out that way. I actually had to relearn metric when I was taking pharmaceutical classes. And then I also had to learn about this lovely thing called drams and fluid drams and all that. Yeah, the apothecary math is hard. But I'm really glad I got to learn it. I actually had to take a class that involved all those measurements in college when I was doing nursing stuff. And I got an A in the class. Once I knew the basis for math, and you gave me an easy enough explanation, everything just came to me. And I could probably still do the formula for how to administer certain medications to a certain height and weight, because height and weight affect how medications will affect somebody. And I used to be able to do those calculations without having to do a calculator. That was years ago. I don't think I'm that good anymore, but I still remember the formula. I just literally have no use for it anymore because I do data entry. The most math I do is figuring out my analytics of how much work I did compared to how many hours I worked. So like the other day I did some math, and in 8.5 hours I managed 14 hours of data entry work. So that's about all I use math for nowadays other than cooking. Oh, and speaking of things that America does differently, I had to learn not to use a 24-hour clock. They use a 12-hour clock here in the States, and it was so confusing because I'd be like, oh, it's 14 o'clock. And people at school would be like, what? And I'd be like, look, it's 14 o'clock. And they're like, no, it's 2. And so I had to learn a 12-hour clock system. I felt so dumb as a kid because everyone would be like, oh yeah. It makes sense to have a 24-hour clock, but then America sometimes just doesn't make sense. They seem to like their 12-hour clock, but if I can, I will literally set all of my devices to a 24-hour clock. Yeah. I play Fate Go, and they run on a 24-hour system, so they'll be like, well yeah, your next draw is at 17 o'clock, and I had somebody ask me what 17 o'clock means. It's like, that's 5 o'clock. I still prefer the 24-hour clock over the 12-hour clock. Yeah, because Japan runs on a 24-hour time. But yeah, I like the 24-hour time better. I don't get to use it very often. So all of my gacha and mobages and stuff like that, they're all set to 24-hour. Yeah, like I didn't know what AM PM was. I'm like, what is an AM? What's a PM? And people looked at me like I was stupid. I'm like, literally, I grew up in a country where we didn't use the terms AM and PM. I actually still don't know what AM and PM means. I just know that AM is for the before noon, and PM is for afternoon. I never bothered to learn what they actually mean. I'm not very good with the Romance languages. Like, I know there is Latin terms for AC and BC, but I just go with the basic things of before Christ and after Christ, which is still weird. Yeah. I'm better with Japanese than I ever was with the Romance languages. I know there is a Latin term for it. Yeah, you see that's how bad I am with Latin. I know medical words and that's about it. That's all I ever needed Latin for was medical terminology. My brain is very much, if I don't need to know it, I don't learn it. See, I'm that way with Jewish words. I'm not even Jewish. I never have been Jewish, but I have been around so many people that speak Yiddish that they can just start having a full-on conversation and throw in Yiddish words, and I'll be there and I'm like, hey, I understand you. So that's my random knowledge, is just random bits of Yiddish, random bits of Dutch. I can just understand Norwegian and Danish to a degree. I can understand some Afrikaans. That's somewhat German-based. But you asked me about Romance languages. I know how to order food in French and Spanish, and that's about it. Yeah, I have never come across a French school or French taught in school that wasn't subpar, or like they excelled so much that I would have never been able to catch on. When it comes to French stuff, I just ask my wife. She took French. I'd be like, what does this mean? And she'd be like, oh, it means that. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I took Japanese for 3 years, and I understand it more than I can speak it. Becoming a translator is hard. That's actually literally why I left college at one point. Like, I can understand Spanish, but I can't speak Spanish. And yeah, I'm very rusty. I can still read katakana and hiragana just fine. And there is kanji that I recognize right off the bat. And when I hear people speak it, I'm just like, oh hey, I have a general understanding of what you're saying. But don't ask me more than to say arigato and dodashimashite. Well, I can say things like konnichiwa, konbanwa, stuff like that. And I was told I have very good pronunciation. But I still can't speak it. I've tried. Japanese is very cacophonous, and German can be very cacophonous, so I'm very good with the hard sounds, and I can roll my R's. Like, when you hear people roll their R's in some Japanese words, I'm like, oh hey, I can do that. And we actually taught a Japanese friend how to say L using German. Like, they could not figure out how to say hello. They kept saying hello. And so we're like, say hallo. And he's like, oh, hallo. And he learned how to say L words that way. It is, like, I've heard some Japanese speakers speak German as well as some native speakers. I love rolling my R's in words, like, when I go to the grocery store, I will say just like, oh, I'm gonna get a tortilla, because people understand that. But when I'm like with my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna get myself a tortilla, and I'll roll my R's, and I I've had people wonder why I don't speak Spanish, but I cannot get over two L's being a Y. Like the word pollo. I kept saying, oh, it's polo, it's polo. They're like, no, no, it's pollo. I'm like, what? Why are the two L's a Y? I'm not sure I know what click consonants are. Like, what languages would use the click consonants? Oh, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I can't fully understand Afrikaans is because they, use German, Dutch, and and a couple of the African tribe languages to, speak that language. Yeah, those clicks are wild. I watched a movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy, and when they started speaking and you hear those clicking noises and you're like, what is that? Like, I know how to roll my R's in 4 different ways, and there's not a lot of languages that do that. Click-a-tat. There we go. There, click a something, not click-a-tat, because that's in a tribe up here. There's literally a language with the word click in it. Click it. I can't remember now, but they use a lot of clicking. And it's... Yeah, I think it might be a word that they use to just generalize the clicking. Click something. Oh, it's been so long. Thinking so hard makes me feel old. I'm only 34. Like, I will stick to languages with hard sounds like Japanese. I cannot do languages with soft sounds like French. My tongue can't do the soft noises since I grew up speaking with such harsh noises. I can do soft sounds, they're just harder. And I actually had to learn how to say the TH sound, a th sound, because we don't have a th sound in Germany. So when I came over here, I was saying, oh, dat over there. Oh, instead of saying the end, I was saying the end. Because we just didn't have that sound. So, I guess that's why people thought I was Canadian for a long time. There's just sounds that some languages have, and there's sounds that other languages have. I would have learned to love the clicking, or any kind of language that clicks. But I grew up with German instead. That's actually pretty wild. Yeah, I had to teach myself how to say TH. My mom still, for the most part, will say, instead of saying that over there, she'll go, oh, that over there, oh, da da da, and she still has a very heavy accent. Mine is not as heavy anymore because I literally trained myself out of it. Mostly because I got bullied. Like going to school at a school with predominantly military kids, it was not fun. They did not like German accents. I didn't know why until 8th grade. But yeah, letting myself use my accent again, but it's nowhere near as thick as it used to be. And I'm actually kind of sad I lost most of my accent. Like when I speak to my bosses, I make sure to enunciate words carefully and to sound as accentless as possible so that I'm easily understood, but otherwise, like when I'm streaming and stuff like that, my brain's just like, nah, just talk. So you hear more of my accent when I'm not actively having to think about what I'm saying. I do wish English had more words that you could roll the R with, but it's like Americans are allergic to rolling their R's. I like to say that because my wife was born and raised over here and she cannot roll her R's to save her life. Yeah. Yeah, they really are. I suffered from a lot of culture shock for a long time after moving here. Cause like fashion-wise and technology-wise, Germany was behind America. It's like we still dressed like late 80s, early 90s. Or the 80s had just gotten to Germany in the early 90s. And then I moved to the States and they're dressed completely differently. So I got rid of all my oversized sweaters and stuff like that. Yeah, 80s fashion was comfortable. I regret getting rid of my big sweaters because then I just wound up wearing nothing but a hoodie for years. If my sweater or if my hoodie or my sweaters don't go past my hips, they're too short. Like I used to wear what would be considered like mom pants that were super popular in the 80s, and I had to switch what kind of pants I was wearing because I would get made fun of because I dressed like I came straight out of an 80s video, like a music video. And now that's popular again. Yeah, I mostly just wear jeans, excuse me, and t-shirts. Yeah, kids really do suck. Over in Germany, I got bullied for having an American dad. Over here, I got bullied for not being American enough. So, like, I didn't win either way. At least, thankfully, the bullying over here was just words. They were not that nice over in Germany. I had so much stuff destroyed. I got into so many fights over there. And here it was mostly just kids being mentally mentally and emotionally manipulative, as well as the bullying. But at least I wasn't getting beaten up. I'm glad there's initiatives against bullying nowadays. I can't imagine my nieces going through the same thing. It just... Kids suck, but they learn from their parents. Like, I will say that for being so ready to fight at all times, Americans surprisingly don't get into a lot of fights. People actually try and avoid getting into fights over here. And then you have Europe where, yeah, there's like, excuse me, over in Germany, like over in Europe in general, you insult somebody, expect to be hit by a fist or a glass. Over here, you insult somebody and people whip out their phones. Yeah. used to trust cops in Germany because I had cops in the family, and over here I don't trust them. Mostly also because I went to a really bad high school and we had cops at our school all the time to keep people from committing gang violence and selling drugs. Yeah. There was no free speech over in Europe, not to the level that there is over here. I actually think free speech is nice. It's something I don't want taken away. And I get people that can say what they want to within reason, and I'm allowed to get mad over it. And if they get mad that I'm mad over it, well, then you shouldn't have said something in the first place. Oh wait, I'm trying to use a pickaxe. Yeah, free speech is great. After growing up in a country without it, or very policed free speech is great, but something that I miss over in Europe that Americans don't have, Americans are prudes. I will straight up say Americans are prudes. For being such a sexually accepting country, everybody over here, yeah. I grew up around nudity. I grew up with nudity in magazines. I grew up with nudity in TV. I grew up with porn being shown on public channels as of 10:30 at night when your kids should be in bed. And I come over here and get told that in high school you're not allowed to show your shoulders because you might give boys bad thoughts. And it's like, dude, what? We had magazines for teenagers where they were body positive and showing off people who weren't wearing clothes and like asking them personal questions. Yeah, it's so wild. And oh, I've been playing over 2 hours. That's much longer than I expected. Oops, I keep getting messages I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, it's like 7:47 here. But there's stuff I need to get done before I have to go to sleep for work. Well, thank you for sticking around. It was fun talking with you. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Well, yes. Have a good evening. I'm probably gonna head to bed soon myself. Okay, we're safe now. So yes, have a good night.